Before we dive into today's episode, I just wanted to set the scene for you. Every year since I started my business, I've done a year in review. Now, in the early days of my business, it was a blog, and now it's a podcast episode, but it's kind of become a ritual for me. A chance to pause, look back, and notice what actually happened before I go charging into the next year with a long list of goals and expectations. But interestingly, this year's reflection has landed a little differently for me. On the surface, it might look like a quieter year, fewer big business milestones, slower growth, a bit of inconsistency with content. But underneath all of this, there's been a lot going on personally, professionally, and emotionally too. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through what this year really looked like for me, the personal moments that shaped it, the business decisions I made or in some cases didn't make, the numbers that tell only part of the story but not the whole story, and the lessons that gently revealed themselves once I slowed down enough to notice. I'm sharing this with you because I know that so many of you are quietly wondering if a slower or messier year means you've failed somehow. And I want you to know it doesn't mean that at all. Welcome to the Powerful Content Podcast, your go-to source for content creation, strategy, and business inspiration. I'm your host, Mel Daniels, content strategist, coach, and speaker, empowering women across the globe to grow their business with powerful content that connects, nurtures, and converts. So, if you're ready to create standout content that gets you noticed and remembered, or build an aligned audience who love you and are ready to buy from you, you're in the right place. I believe that content has the power to connect us all. It's up to you how you use it. Listen in for genuine and insightful chats with guests, as well as practical tools and strategies from me. It's so lovely to have you here. Let's dive into the show. I acknowledge the Wongal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional custodians of the country that I am recording from today. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and waters. I pay my respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all First Nation people listening today. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 192 of the Powerful Content Podcast. I know that it's a little late in the year to be releasing an episode, but I really wanted to share this one with you, particularly after the previous crossover episode with Annie Love on the Light Seekers Lounge. And if you haven't listened to that, go back to episode 191. It's a great conversation. Now, every year since I've started my business, I've been publicly publishing my year in review. It's fun for me to look back on and celebrate the achievements and learn through the insights. But this year, I'm doing more than recording. I'm going to give you honesty and insights that will allow you to give yourself grace when it comes to your business and life. I keep coming back to this practice of a year in review as it really helps me honor what's happened before I rush into the next plan or vision for the coming year. And this year, it's been a little bit of an eye-opener for me. This year felt so much quieter on the business and content front and more human than headline worthy. And there's a very good reason for that. My time, energy, and resources just weren't there for my business. And whilst this makes me a little bit sad, thinking about how my business went backwards in so many ways this year, I know that this is a season and we all have seasons. Just because you didn't make 100K, just because you didn't increase your followers, just because you didn't post every day, doesn't mean the year is a waste. Whilst I'm going to give you some numbers in this episode, I don't want you to think about your own reflection as a performance review. It's simply an opportunity to pause and wonder. So my first number for you is 50. That's how old I turned this year. It didn't seem like a huge milestone for me, so I didn't have a big party, but I rather chose to celebrate with friends individually when I could. And one of these moments was a day retreat with a friend, which really reminded me about the need to create space, stillness, and nourishment. It was such a wonderful day. And on the topic of rest, we managed to get away as a family this year, which is no mean feat, with a first year uni and year 11 student in tow. Timing it with term breaks and my husband's busy job was really challenging, but oh, so worth it. Looking back on the week away, we had Such a lovely memory making time away in nature and something that we all needed, which also reminded me on the need for rest and togetherness. Another memorable moment this year was my best friend's wedding. Whilst it's not my moment, the lovely couple curated an intimate experience to celebrate that left me brimming with joy and new friends. And this really reminded me about the fact that beautiful humans attract beautiful humans, and that's how you build a thriving community. And lastly, I celebrated my 1 year anniversary with both my casual jobs. Whilst they've been a huge time and energy suck for my business, they've brought me exactly what I needed in this season of life, and that's deeper human connection. Every single person you meet has a story. And when we take the time to stop and ask questions, to listen, show empathy, and share our own experiences, the world changes for the better. So, this leads me to what happened in business this year. And I think what I want you to take away from this is that not every single year has to be a growth year or is a growth year in your business. Some years are a time of integration, or they might be times of personal growth. I had time at the beginning of the year to participate in two bundles. And whilst I love the experience of creating something new, teaching, spreading my message, I'm not sure that the people it attracts into my world are the right people. I think that in 2026, I'll revisit bundles, but probably take a closer look at who it attracts. Now, one of the things I love to do is to guest on podcasts, but this year I just did not have the time. As a result, visibility looked very different for me. I felt the need and the urge, but I just knew that I didn't have the capacity. I'm hoping that's going to change next year. And this year, I managed to have not one but two in person meetups with some of the members of the Content Effect. Now, these face to face connections brought us all joy and really reinforced the fact that we all share common problems and that the need for heart led entrepreneurs to feel the deeper connection with each other is 100% good for the soul. And the numbers, what did they say this year? Well, some on their own look great, but when you dig deeper, they're not that amazing. And I think I really wanted to share this because so often we're given information that looks good on the outside, but without the context, we're really just being fed fluff. And that's not what I'm going to do for you today. Now, I want to say up front that I'm not being negative or looking for something to bring myself down. I just want to normalize neutral or down years and model some healthy reflection for you. This year, I had a phenomenal 3,000 podcast episode downloads overall. So thank you. Thank you so much for listening. That's 3,000 opportunities I've had to connect with someone. Kind of blows my mind when I think about it. But that number on its own isn't that great. It's actually a 25% dip on downloads in 2024. So numbers don't tell the whole story. Now, despite my season of life, I managed to publish 50 episodes in total. It's kind of coincidental, really, as I turned 50 this year. But honestly, my podcast felt like a bit of a hard slog at times. Getting every episode out was an effort, but I'm super grateful that I have Christine in my life to help me get them out there. There were weeks where I dropped the ball and I didn't publish an episode, and I'd often beat myself up about it. But the truth is, did you even notice? It's likely you didn't, and I'm sure that your audience feels the same about your content too. And lastly, I managed to grow my email list by 150 beautiful humans. A huge hello to you if that was you this year. It's a lot of people to get in front of each week with my emails, but it only represented less than 10% growth overall. So to me, all of these numbers show me a few things. One, that I showed up even when energy, life, and focus weren't always there, that I showed commitment, creativity, and care, even if the rhythm felt a bit wobbly at times. And I got to connect with real humans that read my emails, pressed play, listened, and who chose to stay connected with me. But what they don't say is that they don't capture the personal capacity that I was working with this year. They don't reflect the quality of conversations happening in my life with real people. And they don't show the depth of connection I experience with those same real people. Numbers themselves rarely tell the full story. They tell a story, but not the whole one. So, something that I've realized with my reflection on the year is how consistency looks different when life shifts, and it's okay. We're constantly fed the shoulds of what consistency with content looks like, but the reality is that consistency doesn't always mean weekly, polished, or perfectly planned. Life context matters. When life asks for more presence elsewhere, something has to give, and often we don't give ourselves that grace. We try to keep doing the thing over here that we're doing and then add the other things on top. But really, it's a give and take situation. And you know what? If that happens, it doesn't mean you failed. It means that you're human. Numbers need to be treated as data, not a defined outcome. I'll be holding pride at what I've accomplished, but with some disappointments at the same time. You are totally allowed to say, this didn't go the way I hoped, without turning that into a story about failure. Numbers don't get to decide whether your work mattered this year. You do. And I believe that this year showed me how much I love connecting with people and that I want to do more of it, but in my business next year. So even though I wasn't looking for lessons to learn with the reflection this year, I think that the year has taught me a few things. Number one, that consistency doesn't mean inflexibility. Life will always influence how I show up in my business and my content, and I'm okay with that. The second thing is that depth of connection can matter more than reach, especially during certain seasons of life. This year was an important way for me to learn that real face-to-face human connection brings me joy, so much joy, and is so important in our life. When we genuinely care for each other, the world becomes a better place to live. The third thing is that community often gives more energy and momentum back to business than broad visibility tactics. I talk about attracting aligned people rather than all the people quite a lot, and I feel it's more important than ever to foster joy and connection first and foremost. And lastly, health, age, and personal milestones can really subtly change how ambition and success is expressed. I know that that's happened for me. Whilst I want to earn more money from my business, I also know that there are other things that are just as important. My own health and that of friends is a reminder that we're not on this earth forever. I often listen to my younger colleagues at work spend energy, so much time and energy, on worrying about telling people the truth about situations or asking for what they really want or need. You know what? Our life is too short to spend energy on things that aren't bringing us joy. And that's probably my age and wisdom speaking there. So, what does all of this mean for you? Well, I want you to acknowledge that you may be proud of your year, you may feel disappointed, or you may not know how to feel about it yet. But at the end of the day, both personal and business growth rarely move in straight lines. And only time and reflection can give you the insights you need to move closer to ease and joy. So, to help you apply this episode to your own life and business, I've got my usual reflection questions, just a few more than usual though. So, pause the episode or come back to these questions to journal on them later. Number one, what moments from this year stand out for me personally and why do they matter? Number two, where did I show up consistently even if it didn't look perfect? Number three, what felt nourishing in my business this year and what quietly drained me? Number four, which numbers am I judging myself by and what story am I attaching to them? And number five is, if this year was preparing me for something, what might that be? And if you want to dive into this deeper to review your content in a way that feels more human and far less transactional, simply listen to this episode again with a pen and paper, or you can download my free content review and planning guide. That's less about the numbers and more about you. I've put the link in the show notes. So that's it for 2025. Like my Spotify wrap, it's been full of unexpected insights. I mean, who knew that tropical house was a genre and that it would be my most played? Not me. I'm definitely looking forward to a different 2026, which includes a reimagined podcast. A new name's coming, new format, and new branding. So make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss the launch in the new year. I'll be taking a well-deserved break over the next few weeks, but I've got a special treat for you lined up. I'll be dropping some of the most popular episodes from the year, podcasts that I've guested on, and summit material I've delivered. I have immense gratitude for 2025, even if it was imperfect. And I have immense gratitude for you too, for being part of my world. Wishing you love and light. Talk soon. Thanks so much for listening. That's it for another week. To get more powerful content in your life, make sure you're following along on socials. My handle is @meldbusiness. And just in case you're wondering, the groovy music for this podcast was created by Just Here on SoundCloud. I'd also be super grateful if you took a moment to rate and review this podcast so more amazing women like you can experience the power of content. And if you're like, hell Mel, stop talking, I'm ready to work with you now, here's how we can work some powerful content magic together. Firstly, come and join the Content Effect, my membership inspiring women with service-based businesses to ditch the content chaos and start creating stand-out content that gets you noticed and makes sales. You can join us by using the link in the show notes or just Google the Content Effect. The second way we can work together is via my one-on-one packages. We can create a sustainable content strategy or start to build out your client journey. It's up to you. Hop on over to meldbusinessservices.com.au/services to find out more. Until next time, have a beautiful week and embrace the power of your content.